And we are now recording. Hopefully that didn't crash anything.
No, there's not even a jitter.
Yay! We are now we're recording in 1920 now.
Wow.
I
Oh,
know.
we are recording in 2021.
God damn
I
it.
was there too.
Well done.
Welcome to Fables and Fairies. I'm the fairy. These are my fables. We tell stories, and hopefully they're good ones. um, Heads up, you know, folks who have been here before, you know this, but due to our technical limitations and scheduling conflicts, we cannot do this live, so we're talking to you from the past, and we haven't quite figured out the whole trans-dimensional chat function yet, so on video we're not seeing the chat, but some of us do hang out. I, of course, hang out in chat when this is live, so say hello. It's good to see you folks. And, of course, speaking of chat, loving queer community here, so that means we have zero tolerance policy for homophobia, bigotry, other forms of hate speech. It's Pride Month. Be nice. You've been warned. And
it's illegal to be straight.
Basically,
look it up.
Basically, you know.
I'm gay. Get out of my way.
So that is that. Also, your typical Twitch rules, you know, don't spam symbols, English only, so that we can understand what's being said, and all that jazz. So thank you very much. If not, Nightbot is gonna have a word with you. And that's that. So we love our live viewers, obviously. Hello. Thanks for joining us. If you can't stick around, though, or if you need to see some backlogged episodes, you can, of course, see the VODs here on Twitch, or go check us out on YouTube, where a link shall appear in the comments. I still haven't figured out which side I point to, but it's there.
Point
everywhere.
Yeah, somewhere in
the comment fans.
Exactly. And that's that. Last but not least, I'm gonna toot my own horn here, because on the day that this airs, happy birthday to me!
Yay!
Yay!
Happy birthday, world.
So, obviously, as per usual, I will definitely be around in chat celebrating. I still haven't yet decided if I'm going to do something else during the day, so maybe you are watching this after I've done something else exciting. Who knows? And I will definitely be sticking around in like break time and also after the show if people have questions or things like that. I'd love to do a sort of AMA style about the campaign and where we've been so far. So I think that about covers all of the generic stuff.
I think you're about to tell us where we've been so far.
I am just about to tell you where we've been so far. As you've gathered from the name of the stream, we're playing our way through Candlekeep Mysteries, the latest hardcover from Wizards of the Coast, which I definitely recommend checking it out. # not sponsored, please.
Not yet.
Right, not yet. Today, we are beginning a new chapter entitled The Book of the Raven, which is written by Christopher Perkins with direction from Kim Mohan. So check out in the chat for links to their elements and check them out. If you've missed our previous chapter, we have already played our way through Mazfroth's Mighty Digressions, and you can catch those backlogged episodes on YouTube, or you can just jump in and continue watching here, because the episodes are, you know, or not episodes, the chapters are somewhat self-contained, so stick around and have fun. But to that end, previously on D&D, the party had investigated the murder and disappearance, the murder of the Night Watch of Candlekeep and the apparent disappearance of some books. They made their way to Baldur's Gate in pursuit of a solution to this, and came to a peaceful, for the most part, solution, and then enjoyed some span of downtime, both in Baldur's Gate itself, and then back in Candlekeep, where you were able to, in some of your cases, take on a subclass and develop your abilities further, connect with one another, and build those those workplace bonds, as you enjoyed a little bit of well-earned time off. But vacation can't last forever, and you were called in to your usual, you know, weekly morning briefing with Tele Savoste, the great reader of occultism, to have your next assignment. As he comes in, you see that he is clutching a collection of papers and books and things that seems to almost be moving a little bit. And as he prestidigitates and clears away his seat, the chair pulling out of its own accord, and he takes a seat down in front of it, he throws down on the table with a little bit of oomph this black leather-bound book that is pockmarked with burns and scars and, distress on the cover. Very sloppily bound. You can actually see the binding. There is no spine to cover it. And the book rapidly flips open almost of its own accord, the pages fluttering wildly before settling on a crudely drawn map.
I draw my weapon and form a battle stance.
My Drake really perks up at this.
Indeed. And so as there is a sort of rush of activity in the vicinity, Teles raises his hand. Not to worry. A little bit of worry. That's just the Book of the Raven doing what it does every decade.
Every decade, you say? We have to deal with this again in 10 years?
Well, no, we've been dealing with it about every decade. But, now that we have you lot, maybe you can do something about it.
What? It.
We'd be happy to do something about it. What do you usually do about it?
What is it?
This is the Book of the Raven, so named because it lacks a title or author, but it was delivered to Candlekeep by way of bird of the same name, approximately 60 years ago. Since then, on this exact date, every 10 years, the book begins behaving strangely. Whispers or giggling children are heard in its vicinity. The pages rustle, and those nearby feel a chill creep down their spine. No matter what we have done to try and isolate it, lead-lined boxes, hallowed ground, just locking it far away from everyone, it always somehow manages to get its way out. With a raven.
It's ironic that we feel a chill down our spine when it has no spine.
I'm going to make my way over to AZ and just kind of what I think is quietly, but is just below regular speaking volume, go, is 10 years a long time?
For some people.
I'm just going to go out on a limb. Given what we've been through, have we tried feeding this thing?
Or birding it.
Oh,
Or both.
What is the contents of the book? Presumably, you read it when it isn't unsettling everyone nearby. What's the book about?
it's rather interesting, curious, relatively unremarkable. It is a first-hand account by the unnamed author who broke her leg after being thrown from a horse while exploring the Evermoors. She is taken in by a band of people calling themselves the Vistani, who nurse her back to health over a long journey. She describes their lifestyle as she is traveling with them, and the account stops rather suddenly at the end of this journey when they find themselves at the gates of a large black castle atop a cliff promontory.
I would like to make a metagaming check.
I was thinking exactly the same thing.
Are we going to go to Barovia now?
We are better not be.
Surprise, it's Chris Strahd.
Yeah, exactly.
Does the name Vistani mean anything?
Anyone who's proficient can roll a history check.
I don't remember.
I am not
proficient.
rolling. Nope, it's just stacked up.
I got a natural 1. I know nothing.
Oh, I know a lot, maybe.
Oh,
Yeah, looks like both Zokar and Az are
yeah.
quite familiar with the legend of Barovia.
Indeed. You recognize the Vistani as a nomadic people. They are family unit driven, in some cases biological family, in some elements a chosen family, that is generally ruled over by the eldest member of this group. They are merry and lighthearted. They travel incessantly, all over the world, and even according to some accounts, across barriers between realms, they are often associated with a strange mist that they will vanish into these great fog banks and never be seen for a long time thence.
I can't imagine why that would happen.
And
The mist roamers. They always have good jewelry.
Hmm. This is, of course, the racially sensitive version of the Vishnani, correct?
yes, a much more
Good, just checking. Just
yes.
making sure. So this is like an outsider's like diary of part of Barovia?
Well, as far as we can tell, there is they were in the Evermoors when she first encountered the Vistani, and travels with them for a span of time, based on the landmarks that we can see on this hand-drawn map and some of the accounts. It seems that she travels through the Lurkwood as well, making a stop at a chalet Brantifax along the way, and then travels through more forests, perhaps back into the Lurkwood. We don't have any landmarks before then coming to this strange castle.
Did that raven fly off once it dropped the book off, or is the raven still here?
Well, that's a rather curious thing. It did, as far as accounts are concerned. But anytime that we successfully managed to get it locked away somewhere isolated by itself, it shows up again in the Court of Air with a raven.
Ooh.
When the book is acting up, has it ever caused any serious problems, or is it always just kind of a general unease and aura of malevolence?
General deep-seated unease, these sort of things make me rather uncomfortable. The fact that I can't do anything about it, that's rather unusual and remarkable. So something beyond my skill set, not comfortable with that. Please, just by the lone eye, please make it stop.
Does the book itself have a magical aura? Have you identified it?
Not strictly. There is a sort of very faint background level that registers, but nothing specific and nothing truly strong enough to register on a typical, for example, a detect magic. It takes a much deeper dive to sense the magic that is present.
And have you done the deeper dive, I assume?
Indeed. Like I said, it defies description and classification. It is just sensible. It is able to be sensed.
May I? And I point at the book, but I'm already grabbing the book.
He just sort of.
Yeah,
I'll
I'll walk over to you as you pick it up, because I'm also, I want a closer look at it. It opened to a specific page, right?
It did. It is that the crude hand-drawn map that he made mention to that depicts at least a portion of their journey. And it seems to make sort of beelines, like, straight lines that don't make as much sense, because as you sort of flip through the account, the woman was in the back of one of their wagons for a majority of it, so she didn't see very much per se, so it's more about the Vistani themselves. But it seems that they left the Evermoors, traveled through the Lurkwood, which is to the east of Mirabar, and came to this chalet Brantifax, and then the map stops. There's no, their route seems to end at chalet Brantifax.
I'm going to examine the book. By examine the book, I mean I'm going to look at the first few pages. I'm going to look at the last few pages. I'm going to pick it up and shake it upside down. I'm going to knock on it and listen to it to see if it sounds hollow. I'm going to bite the cover. Just generally treat it as one should never treat a book.
I'm going to watch this fascinated, because I'm not really familiar with books, despite being a Candlekeep resident. I'm going to be like, is this what one does? Yeah.
As you shake it, you hear this little girl's laughter echo around the room.
No.
Ha! And
Never
then
bodes well.
and then I drop the
leave.
book. At that point, that's a ha!
The laughter of children is always unsettling.
Not in this room. We don't have any children in this office.
Yeah, that's what makes it so unsettling. These places, the Dreadmore, whatever, and are they nearby?
Well, not specifically, but as it just so happens, Kazrin happens to be in Mirabar with the Annex, so we could send you to Mirabar and you could explore from there, seek out the chalet, perhaps.
That sounds like a reasonable line of investigation.
Yeah.
When you say send us there, does that mean like some kind of instantaneous travel there, or are we
Or
gonna have to?
Walking.
we have
Oh,
our
yes,
two horses.
No,
Rebels.
Kazrin is there with the Annex right now, so it's as simple as stepping through a door.
Ah, fantastic. This seems like it opened to the map, which is always suspicious, and it seems more than coincidence that we have a way of quickly getting to one of the points of interest on the map. I'm willing to continue our investigation there.
Coincidence
Brother.
in what sense? The metagaming sense or the
Look, I'm talking about whatever divine providence has placed us and this book in the same place at the same time. Surely, there is a design to it.
So I kind of lounge back and I'm like, so what you're really telling me is you want us to travel through a magical door halfway across the realm because you're annoyed that this book makes a lot of noise every 10 years?
Do you not know anything about scholars?
No, not really.
Brother,
Can I-
perhaps you should copy the map as it exists now in case the map changes later.
I was gonna say, do you remember 10 years ago, did it kind of try to show you this same map, or is it usually just kind of random? Does it seem like it wants us to look at this map? Does it seem to want at all?
I do believe that the map comes up frequently, not consistently, but it is at least one of the pages that has frequently been notated. It clearly, if I were to ascribe any motivation, if there really is some sort of spirit or presence behind it, as is my suspicion with these sorts of things, it does seem to want to be noticed. It always responds very adversely to being put away.
And how long do these periods of activity typically last? If we just ignored it for 2 weeks, would it go back to normal, or how long is it expected to be active?
It varies, certainly no less than a 10-day, and I think the longest that's ever been documented is 30 days.
Okay.
I mean, should we take it with us? Do you think
Oh,
they'll-
absolutely.
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
Oh, gotcha. We need
I don't
like a-
think it would
we
let
need
us
like
do
a-
anything else.
We need like a book leash or something, or a little bird cage.
A book leaf. We'll just tie it with a rope.
Yeah.
Sorry, what was the name of the person that we're meeting again?
He just said Kazrin.
Do we know who that is? Because I don't have any notes on him or them.
Indeed. Anyone can make a history check. You do not have to be proficient in this case.
Oh, great. Here, let's go again.
Mhm.
Nope.
You know?
Don't look.
Okay.
Oh, I
Get the
double
exact
clicked
opposite
it.
of what I rolled last time.
Oh, okay. There we go. Selva, you recognize the name. Kazrin Nyantani, who she is the great reader of geomancy. So she is of the same rank as Teles. But none of you have personally met her before.
Stuffy rock.
And
Science
she was
magic.
at the chateau.
She is presently, whatever this means, she is with the Annex in Mirabar.
What does that mean?
Or I should say, the way he phrased it, she is in Mirabar with the Annex.
I mean, I take it to mean that because we have a door that takes us there instantaneously, there is a part of Candlekeep that can be somewhere else, and we can still access it from a door within Candlekeep. I could be off base about that.
Much like when you put your hand through a window, then your hand is outside.
Yes, but the window in this case can be leagues away from the rest of the house.
I am.
Much like that window is feet away from me now.
I'm very uncomfortable with this.
Have you not traveled by teleportation before?
I've traveled by pause.
So, it
will be fine. I've done this. Such spatial anomalies occur all the time in the astral sea. You just walk through the door, you won't even feel a thing.
I mean, I'll take your word for it. I trust you. We're party members.
What's the worst that can happen?
We end up inside a rock.
You could find yourself in the far realms, preyed upon by an ancient evil who will tear your brain apart from the inside out as they tear your body apart from the outside in.
Maybe we're not going to do this. Maybe we should take a horse.
No, it'll be fine. Come on, let's go.
How far away is Mirabar?
Mirabar is quite a far ways to the north. It is about as far north as you can go in terms of major cities before hitting the spine of the world and Icewind Dale.
Okay, I guess we have to use your damn door.
Bring a warm coat.
I have a warm coat. Don't you see it? It's my fur.
I wasn't, you could be wearing your summer coats down here.
I've shed out all my warm fur.
Indeed. Well, if you need to make any preparations, feel free to do so, and then I shall let me know when you're ready. And he sort of gathers up everything but the Book of the Raven and heads back into his office through one of the doors to the conference room here.
How are we transporting this thing for real, though? Is it just going to kind of follow us?
No, we're putting it in my backpack.
All right, perfect. Boom.
As long as it's not me.
Yeah. This is like the third weirdest book I've handled.
Mirabar, there, I found it.
I'm surprised it's even that high on the list.
All right. Is there anything that you guys wish to do beforehand?
Not really.
Before he leaves, I would like to ask for a moment of his time.
Certainly.
I am conducting an experiment, and I was wondering if you would be able to help.
Go on.
I would like some of your blood.
Ah! Sorry, I'm not there.
And to what purpose?
I am seeking to see how spellcasting can be empowered. I need your blood or another spellcaster's to do it. It doesn't have to be you. If you have access to another spellcaster's blood, I take that as well.
Make a persuasion check. I'm sure that that you have an interesting hypothesis in mind, but that really just I prefer to keep everything on the inside and the outside away from the inside and vice versa. So perhaps maybe you can confer with Baratsun, and just kind of like slams the door shut behind him.
If you happen to bleed accidentally, I would also take that blood.
Great.
Good.
Why we have such a good relationship with our boss.
He is a very odd little man. He wouldn't give me any of his blood.
Yeah, he's the odd man.
That is-
Would you not shed your blood freely for one another? Is that not what we do here?
If you want, I mean, I'm a spellcaster, sort of. If you want some blood, you can have some blood.
I do not wish to cause offense, but I am looking for quality blood.
That's pretty offensive.
I turn my back on you and walk away into the office. I am done. I take my drink with me. I snap and I say, "Come on, girl," and we go into our office.
Oh my god. Perfect. Perfect.
Ow.
All right. Any preparations to be made before you're ready to depart?
Nah, we'll figure it out when we get there.
All right.
Yeah.
So, let's see here. Once you are ready, Teles leads you down through the twisting staircases and countless passageways, through the quiet stacks and past the bustling kitchens of exaltation, until you reach a rather cramped chamber that is part spice cupboard, part library. The ancient oaken shelves almost seem to groan under the weight of many cookbooks, and the air is rich with the scent of pungent seasonings. Teles looks around and ponders to himself for a moment, muttering under his breath as he starts to sort of skirt around you, tugging at various books and drawers of spices as he goes. Now, how did it go? Julia, yes. Then cardamom, fennel, and turmeric, and scapi, and parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme, and what was it? Escoffier. He pulls out, and as he pulls the last tome, there is a grinding sound as the stones of the only blank wall begin to rearrange themselves into an elaborate archway set with a sandalwood door. Well then, good luck. Oh, and don't forget to properly decontaminate before you return. Heaven knows what she's keeping over there. Good luck! And he just opens the door and like starts to push you through.
I grab the parsley. I'm like, I need some seasoning for the road.
So you grab the blandest one.
Yes.
Good.
Good. All right. Now, you then emerge in a dimly lit space that smells of parchment, incense, and motor oil.
And parsley.
And parsley, apparently. Your gaze instinctively follows this dim light upwards to its source, a domed ceiling filled with dazzling stars, slowly orbiting to match the night sky. Bookshelves curve around the perimeter of this rotunda, which itself is cluttered by statues and a few large tables littered with unrolled maps and miniature astrolabes, and aisles that vanish off into the darkness. Just as you're getting your bearings, there is a creak and a boom in the distance, followed by the rapid clicking of footsteps. Oh, blast it. Wellsworth, we need, ouch! We need tea. Visitors dropping in, unannounced. I'll be with you in a moment, dears. Miss Maglin, do get their coats. Don't stand around there being useless.
We can hear you without all of the yelling.
And
I think it should keep going.
a woman's voice obviously calls out from between the stacks some far ways away. Just as the statue that is nearest to you, which depicts a portly halfling woman, gives a long yawn and then sort of teeter-totters over towards you with her arms outstretched to take your cloaks.
I don't have a cloak.
Fair
You
enough.
can't touch my fur.
I came warmly dressed, so I will gladly relinquish my outermost layer.
I'll hand over my cloak.
Very good.
You remove your skin so easily.
My armor provides full body coverage. And with that, I will retract the helmet.
Good. Just as you're doing this, A short woman practically skids into the rotunda as the starlight brightens to illuminate the room more fully. Her jet black hair is pulled tightly back behind a headband and then poofs up into a large spherical afro that is bedecked with various hairpins and combs that are stylized like constellations and celestial bodies. Losing my place here. Her soft brown eyes twinkle with an inner hint of glee, though her round face remains a little flustered. She wears her purple Avowed robes in the classic Cholton cut of her ancestry. And she sort of looks around at all of you. Hello. Kazrin Nyantani, at your service. Great reader of geomancy. Welcome to the Annex.
Excuse me for my ignorance, but what is geomancy?
Oh, well, it's...
Oh, shut up, wizards. Some of us spend our lives in the woods picking at grubs.
She actually does like sort of furrow her brow at Zokar and there's just a single little disapproving, tut as she then turns back to Tally. Geomancy is a broad name for all of the physical sciences of the world. Things such as physics, botany, biology, zoology, the likes thereof, and also the way in which the entire planet that we find ourselves on is related to everything above and about.
I enjoy the animals and the plants, I understand.
That is very good. Then we shall get along quite well. But that does bring me to a question. What are you doing here exactly?
Who has the book?
I've got the book, and I will step forward and say we are investigating the strange behavior of the Raven Tome that has begun behaving erratically again. If you are familiar with this particular, and I pull out the book, this particular oddity in in Candlekeep's library.
Oh, I'm well aware. Is Teles with you? Did he come by any chance?
He stayed behind.
Oh, very well. So he sent you to take care of his problems then, and didn't see fit to return my invitation for a visit to the Annex. Not to worry.
That's basically what we do.
Oh, very well, very well. Well, then, how may I be of assistance?
You have any idea how to shut up?
Well, the place that I was interested in starting is trying to follow the route taken by the author / narrator of this little biography. You happen to be in the area, and I presume that you're somewhat familiar with. And I kind of pull out the map page and gesture vaguely.
Before you can even show her this particular page, she's sort of musing to herself. Yes, I do recall the northern Evermoors, if I recall correctly. Then they take the path of Elks through the Lurkwood. That was my hypothesis at the time. And she starts just like muttering off to herself as she just turns away from you and starts walking towards the tables. Wellsworth, forget about bring the tea anyway, but then get me the Lurkwood maps. And she sort of unrolls or better situates one of the maps that was already out on one of these tables. This seems to show the sort of northern region of the Sword Coast and beckons you all over. Yes, now I'm waiting for Wellsworth to bring me a slightly more detailed, closer scale. But if you'll see, here's us in Mirabar right now. And the Evermoors are some short distance down here to the southeast. And then just immediately to the east of us is the Lurkwood. Now, I don't have Chalet Brantifax, Brantifo?
Brantifix.
Right, that one. I don't have that marked on this particular map, but I do believe I have it on the one Wellsworth is bringing. And there are a couple paths through Lurkwood that I can point you in the direction of if you're looking to retrace their steps.
That would be most helpful. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. And at this point, another statue, this one a sort of slender male elf, sort of comes tottering into the rotunda with a tray of tea in one hand and a bundle of big scrolls under the other, and sort of totters forward and lays them down onto the vicinity around you, and then totters off. Please help yourselves to some tea.
I will.
And she then sort of filters through the maps and pulls out one that shows the Lurkwood specifically, in much better detail. Yes, here we go. So if I can interpret, and by this point she is looking at the Book of the Raven, and sort of flipping through it to refresh her memory. But she seems to have a pretty good recollection of like what's going on with this story, and she's just refreshing herself on some of the details. Now, from what I can tell, the map here is not very good, but the narrative, some of the landmarks mentioned, give me the suspicion that they were following the path of Elks, right this way, and she sort of indicates it on the map. There are one or two other ways. There is the path of daisies to here, and then the Uthgard March. This direction that would all take you generally to the vicinity of Chalet Brantifax, and she points at the northern extremes of the forest, really basically in the foothills of the spine of the world. That is where you will find Chalet Brantifax. I don't know much about it. Haven't delved into the particular history of that location. You may ask around with the locals here in Mirabar, if they know anything further, but unfortunately I don't have any material on it.
Seems like a good enough place to start.
Well-
I love a chalet.
Well, I hope that it lives up to your expectations then.
I expect hot chocolate and skiing.
Oh, hot chocolate. That would be a good idea. Wellsworth, make a note! Well, is there anything else that I can do? And she rolls up the map of the Lurkwood and passes it over to you. Just make sure you bring this back. It's my, well, no, it's my favorite copy, not the only copy. I'm working on a better one. But it's my favorite copy. So please take good care of it, and good luck on your journey. Unless there's anything else that I can help you with.
God, I feel like this is like Q telling James Bond not to break the gadgets.
Thank you.
We're gonna break the gadgets.
Good tea. Thank you.
Quite delicious.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any tea.
Very good. All right, and so with that, she will take you out of the rotunda, down one of the larger aisles, to a similar sandalwood door that is at the far end of this aisle, and she opens it up. I do hope you're not especially afraid of heights. And she opens the door, and you feel this sort of rush of wind. And as you sort of peek out, you hear the creaking of timbers and the sort of gentle whistling of wind and the rushing of water. And you find yourselves coming up a set of stairs to the deck of a ship. Except instead of a mast and sails overhead, there is a huge balloon that is tethered to this ship. And you can see the tops of buildings of a city over the edge of the deck as you are rising up.
Well, now we know how the annex gets around.
Yeah, I dropped all fours, and I'm like,
Do
Some
I
growling
have
going on here.
slow fall?
I do not like heights.
It's a passing attempt at beginning to master the principles of Githyanki construction. It is as a child would draw it.
That's a high form of compliment from him.
And without missing a beat, Kazrin just smiles. Well, thank you. That is very courteous of you to say. And as she's heading out, she's like picking up a big shoulder satchel and you can hear the clanking of tools, and there's like an oil can sticking out of it, and she's already like pulling on some gloves. Now, I was in the middle of some repairs, so I'll get back to that. But I trust that you can.
Repairs? Does that suggest that things are not all well?
Oh, no. Just whenever we're on the move, things have a tendency to, wear out a little bit. It's still a work in progress. So that's part of the reason that I'm docked here in Mirabar. They have very good smiths, very good supplies, so I can make some necessary upgrades for the next leg of my journey.
Oh,
If you are unable to repair the problem on your own, on our way back, I would be happy to assist you.
It's very kind. And she sort of, brushes past you and heads over, and where there would be sort of the helm on a traditional ship, there is this huge furnace, boiler, clockwork machinery element that has this long tube that goes up into the balloon, and then these pipes that come out and dig into the ship around the vicinity and whatnot. And there's a couple things that are hissing and whirring, and she just starts, dithering as she heads off to effect her upgrades.
This sounds like a Final Fantasy flying machine.
It does. I would hum the theme, but I don't know it well enough to not be an ass about it. I am literally curled up on the floor.
Is there a way down that we can see?
And my little
staircase?
Drake is curled up on top of me on the floor.
As you look around, you do see what looks like it should be the space for a gangway, but instead just has a ladder, a rope and lumber ladder tied to it that goes, as you sort of peek over the edge, goes about, 50, 60 feet down to the docks of Mirabar in the river Mirar. So you can see just sort of the tops of sailing ship masts and things around you. You're at the heart of the docks. You're just above them.
Oh, this is no problem. I mount the ladder and start climbing down.
All right.
I follow as well. Not afraid of heights.
Mm-hmm.
I'll follow.
After you.
Okay, uncurl, and I I put my Drake on my shoulders, and I say, "Okay, we're going to do it." And we very slowly, and I have four hands and a tail, and the tail is gripping the lower rung, and we're like climbing up very slowly.
Uh-huh.
Just whatever you do, do not look down. And if you do look down, don't fall into the water. It's very cold and you will likely die.
Got it. I don't look down, but my Drake does.
Okay. Very good. Very good. Slow coming down as Tally rejoins the group and Zokar following.
Sorry, friends. I suck at heights.
Zokar following handily behind. And you find yourselves in the bustling docks of Mirabar. If anyone is proficient with history, you may make checks to see what you know about Mirabar.
Yeah, that's helped me a lot so far.
No.
I will check, but I won't. Yeah, I know nothing. This is great. My rolls tonight are just astonishing.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well,
I think it's a town.
yeah. Baratsune and Azure, you are aware. Oh, and Zokar, you are aware that Mirabar has a very mixed human and dwarf presence. The city actually extends for several layers underneath the surface that was originally a dwarven stronghold, and then humans kind of almost coincidentally settled the same spot after a span of time, and the cities sort of merged together. So it is a bit of a mecca in the north of craftsmanship and mining. There is intensive mining here. Azure and Zokar, beyond that, also know that it's a very, very wealthy city as a result of their trade and the minerals that they produce and the fine crafts. A very proud city that leverages their wealth within the Lord's Alliance of other cities, but is also, pardon the pun, very down to earth. the wealthy merchants and whatnot tend not to show off their wealth. They have nice things in private, but their sitting rooms or any areas where they might entertain guests are generally very modest. And so that there's kind of a disparity. The city as a whole is very prosperous and very safe as a result. They invest very heavily into their defense. This region of the world has had quite a lot of sort of barbarian incursions. The original dwarven settlement was actually destroyed by orcs before the humans resettled there later and whatnot. So they put a lot of their budget into defense and infrastructure. But the haves and the have-nots are still very present, and the haves are very good at hiding it.
Don't like that at all.
It has been many of your tenure since I have been here. Many tenure, I believe, as you reckon time. Did you? I'll turn to Barat soon. Did you participate on the raid on the Mithril Hall?
I did no such thing.
It was great. We got a lot of mithril. Many dwarves died.
Wow, that sounds great.
Well, we needed the mithril, and they had it, and so we took it. And
What did
it
you-
was very good.
What did you need it for?
I don't know how that's any of your business.
Well, okay, fair.
Good. All right. So yeah, that's kind of high level notes of what you are aware of Mirabar there, and you may set out following the map that was provided to you, inquire with locals, make new preparations.
I kind of want to get like a streetwise, see if they have any idea of this wagon that came through like 60 years ago.
Okay. Yeah, very good. Roll a are you proficient with persuasion or insight or investigation?
Yes.
All right, then roll
Investigation.
Investigation. Okay. Roll charisma plus proficiency then.
Give me a second. It's that +2.
Okay.
It's a 10.
Hey, you broke double digits.
Yeah.
Barely.
Better than I've done on any roll tonight.
Hang on. I got some new features. Let me just make sure that it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Gotcha. All right. Well then, asking around, you try and make connections that you're sort of, the type of connections that you're familiar with. Asking around, and it's kind of a different city up here than what the types of sort of Thieves Guild elements that you're used to. They have a strange dialect of Thieves' Cant, and so you're not getting too far, but you do manage to get sort of general public knowledge of there's a few people who recognize the name Brantifax. And as far as they're aware, the chalet has actually been deserted for a number of years. And that the last they knew, it was the property of Baron Rolf Brantifax, who was regarded as a kind man who loved the outdoors.
How do you spell Brantifax?
I'm getting there.
I spelled it three different ways in my notes. I was pretty close.
Yeah.
But they say it's been abandoned for some time, as far as they know.
Indeed.
How long is some time? Are we talking years, decades?
At least 50 years.
Okay. Decades.
Yeah.
That would explain why nobody really knows much about it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
The dwarves might.
Yeah.
Yeah, is there some sort of like dwarf tavern or something around here we could peek into?
Is there a dwarf information dispenser?
Yeah, absolutely. You can either, explore around and find a tavern up here, or from, the party's general knowledge, the deeper you go underground, the more dwarfy it gets. It's sort of a stratum of, there's plenty of dwarves on the surface, and there's plenty of humans underground, but sort of they meld to the extremes.
Yeah.
Enjoy things as dwarfy as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want maximum dwarfy.
Maximum dwarf.
Down as far as we can
I'll
go.
slide down the pole. We get to the
Bust-
bottom of the dwarf.
Bust out that Scottish accent there, Dungeon Master.
I also
Get ready.
I love dwarves because they're anti-heights. They're underground.
Mm.
Truth. All right. So with that, you head down deeper into the levels of the Undercity, and after a while, you notice the humans sort of tapering off, and the deeper you go, you do start to get some not hostile looks, but just some weird looks.
At some point, I will extend Yield Helmet.
Okay.
When you say extend the helmet, what do you mean?
I mean, the helmet retracts into the chest plate, and it
Oh, this
then
is very
unfurls.
Stargate. So you're like one of those Egyptian sort of guards.
No,
Yeah.
he's literally Iron Man.
I am. I like better the Jaffa reference to SG1. So
Yeah.
I'm
I
gonna be
was
going
going
with
to say,
Yeah.
I like that reference better.
Yeah.
that.
Perfect. All right, so let's see. After a span, okay. After a span, you are starting to get some weird looks. They're, like I said, not hostile, but they're like, "Are you lost, brah?" Sort of looks. Don't ask me why my dwarfs are surfer dudes for a split second there.
Bruh.
I was
Okay,
surfing
well, I
on this
ignore them.
magma wave.
We ignore them, then keep going.
All
I mean,
right.
I don't care. We're not lost. We know we're going.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay. Eventually, you do, come to. Eventually you reach a point where, like, it's more mine than it is city. So you sort of, backtrack a little bit. And so you're at really the bottom of civilization. Very, everything is carved out of earth. There aren't really buildings at this particular level. They've just carved, basically straight streets and whatnot, and carved the buildings into the sides of these shafts, as it were. And after a little bit, you do manage to find what seems to be some sort of gathering hall, a drinking hall, a tavern, or just a social get together, what have you. That there's some loud revelry coming from within, and you make your way in, and initially nobody notices you, so to speak, as you come in, and then sort of bit by bit, the dwarves nearest to you take note. They feel someone behind them, and it's like, yeah, they turn to like offer you a drink or something, and then realize who they're looking at, and so things go a little more quiet.
I'll buy everyone around.
I was about to say that.
All right.
I'll just do it.
Okay.
I will buy every dwarf in the place around.
That's gonna be 15 gold.
That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. It's worth it.
And yeah, as you
Cap, you're generous.
as you meow and call out to the barkeep, there is a uproarious huzzah as tankards are raised, cheers, and people immediately sort of start crowding towards the bar. Also, if there's no space at the bar, the people who are closest sort of get over there. Some of them start coming to you and like just elbowing at you. Welcome. Hey, what brings you on down here?
Someone else can do the talking.
Um,
I'll be the mascot.
we are interested in undergoing an expedition into the mountains to the north, and we're wondering if anyone down here has some experience exploring that area, the moors and the area around the chalet Brantifex.
Really quick, did we say was Rolf Brentifax a human or a dwarf?
He's human.
Okay.
But certainly the mountains up there are known to be, or I would presume they are rich in many resources, and you are somewhat interested in them. If there's anyone here that knows a thing or two about them, we'd be eager to swap stories.
Oh, we got the right good idea. Oh, wow, that was terrible. That was terrible. God.
That's because he's so drunk.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we got a good idea about the things going on over there. Pretty nasty area. The cold winds that come down from Orl's Rhyme, and nasty things to be had in that direction. And but well, wasn't it Bordy? Yeah, Bordy. He was gonna prospect out there. Oh no, it was Boris. And there's some argument back and forth, and et cetera, before they finally get their story straight. Make just a persuasion check. See how much you can sort of like coax them along into a coherent story.
I feel like this should be with advantage, given that I bought
Yes. Yeah. Sorry, I meant to say that earlier. That
Just saying.
Yes.
I spent a lot of my gold.
Oof.
Oof.
All right.
I don't know why I'm making the persuasion check.
Even with advantage?
Yeah.
Yeah, I rolled an 11.
Yeah. A 10 and 11.
I will walk up to Selva and I will say, perhaps they'd respond better to a lass.
I can give it a go, but I don't think I should imitate that accent.
Oh God! I'm not the DM, but I'd give you inspiration.
Yeah. Take that inspiration, girl.
I don't know why I half elf would.
In fact, let me
amazing.
see. Let me see if I can help, and I will cast. Wait. Is that the self one or? Hold on. Oh, it's disguise self. I have. I don't have the other one. Never mind. I was gonna give her a beard, but now it's too late.
Fair enough. Well, so Baratsun, what you get before they sort of dissolve into drunken bickering, essentially, and arguing over the minute details that probably don't matter, is that apparently an upstart stonemason got permission from the council about 30 years ago to claim the abandoned estate. But something got him so spooked that he fled, he came running back to Mirabar and fled even past Mirabar.
Wow.
So this was the upstart guy. Sir, what's your name? I don't think we caught your name first off.
Well, I'm Bordy.
Oh, you're Bordy. I thought you said Bordy. Oh, you're the prospector. Gotcha.
Oh, no, it's another Bordy.
How many boardies are there?
There's a whole slew of us around these parts.
It's like Joe.
Right. Well, Bordy, have you ever heard of anything like that happening? Do people? When was that he came kind of running back?
Oh, would have been the better part of 30 years ago.
And has anybody heard from him since?
Nope, he made far south. Last I heard, he was thinking about Waterdeep.
Is anybody else kind of nobody was curious and went up there? And
if it's bad enough to make a dwarf go running, we ain't stupid enough to run back in.
Valiant sometimes. I love it.
His accent's changed like 3 times. I love it.
I'm sorry.
I love it.
He's 40's drunk. It's fine.
Yeah.
Accents are hard.
I mean, it seems pretty forthcoming with the information. Is there anybody else around here who knew that prospector really well?
Make a
Does he have family around here?
make a persuasion check with advantage. You're less trying to get them on your side and more trying to like get the right people talking and get like a coherent story out of them instead of letting them bicker about the details. And with that, you do get several people sort of interested, and they're coming over and talking to you and sort of feeding off each other and filling in bits and pieces as you're sort of like keeping them on task. And so they're able actually to collectively tell you a lot about Baron Brantifax. They assert that he had a pretty good reputation as a very kind man who loved the outdoors. He often invited merchants and friends and craftsmen from Mirabar to join him in hunting parties at the chalet. And he was thus viewed as very generous and outgoing, if a bit ostentatious. He showed off the wealth to a certain extent, which is a bit of a faux pas here in Mirabar. So people, they had mixed feelings about him. He died quite some time ago with no apparent heir, so the estate was abandoned. And his wife, the Baroness Cerisa, usually resided in the city instead, here in Mirabar, with their elder daughter. You already know about the
She was not considered to be the heir.
Not a man.
Well, I was gonna say, yeah, there's an element of patriarchy there, but also that she wanted nothing to do with the estate after the death of her husband. So yeah, there was that. And they also, because they remember an elder daughter being a thing, not really sure what happened there. But then someone else, chimes in of, hey, no, didn't they have 2 daughters? And, no, I don't think so. No, there definitely were 2 daughters. She was never out in public. And so there's a little bit of bickering about that, but, it seems that some people kind of at least have the impression that there were 2 daughters.
I'll go, did the daughters laugh like this? And then do my best impression of the creepy laugh that I heard from the book.
Roll a performance check.
I don't know why it keeps double rolling. I have no idea.
Huh, yeah, that is a little strange.
It's very much like, did any of their daughters laugh like this? Ha 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 ha.
You get more laughs from the room than you get useful information in response to that.
It seems, I'm going to turn to my teammates and says, it seems we're on the right track.
I go, really? My Drake disagrees.
Well, why did Baroness Cerisa live in the city? Was there some sort of... Come on, give me the juicy gossip, guys. What was the deal?
Yeah.
Well, from basically what they get the impression that she just didn't like the chalet. She generally found every excuse not to be there. She would busy herself with social affairs here in the city, and and the education of this elder daughter, and went out to the country as little as possible.
Chalet of that size had to have probably a staff to maintain it. Any of those people still live around here, or?
No, they that was the one little bit in addition to their ostentatious nature that they didn't get so long well with us because they were a bit too partial to human servants. They didn't like to mix and mingle.
Fair.
So,
I've often found that humans make the best servants.
that earns uproarious laughter.
I agree with him. I clap him on the back and I say, I agree. They give us the best treats.
I'm super uncomfortable right now.
Right.
I'm like, ha ha ha, so funny. Anyway.
Let me just pull up my ears a little more.
Yeah.
half elf crew.
Only half human in the party.
Yeah, no, we got 2 half elves and 2
Half elves.
Githyanki
Oh, God.
and a cat.
might actually be the first D&D party in the history of 5e that didn't have a human in it. Actually, we should all give ourselves a pat on the back.
Well, we make one
No.
full human.
Yeah.
I've never been in a
Between, between you,
since I started playing 5e, I have never been in a party with a human. I think that's accurate. I think I've
That's
never been in one.
That's bizarre to me.
I
had
know, but it's
exactly
never,
the opposite experience.
everyone wants pointy ears and weird fur.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So you've spent a long time down at this, sort of almost, I guess you could almost call it a speakeasy. Like, it's not a formal tavern. It's just a dwarven social hall, essentially.
It's a watering hole. For
Yeah.
the
This is a working dwarf's bar.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
So
Drinks is important.
you've been there for a hot second and feel that you've gotten them to collectively recall, all that's going to be useful.
Okay. I think we should probably poke around to see if we can't find any surviving members of House Brantifax.
I disagree. I think we should go there. I think, it sounds like everyone died, and we're just delaying our long travel to there.
I agree. I think we should leave sooner.
I think we
rather
should
than
go.
later.
Maybe enough of maximum dwarf.
I mean,
And so-
I
apologize.
I will defer to you if that's truly what you think. But it seems like if there was a daughter that lived here, it might behoove us to find out what happened to her. But
I didn't get the sense that the daughter lives here. Did they say something to that I missed?
yeah, the
city.
wife and he, Baron Brantifax had a wife and one or two daughters that lived in the city. One of them was seldom seen. But after the Baron died, none of the residents here saw fit to maintain the chalet.
Oh, I got something totally different out of that. Maybe it was, I don't know if I was just not paying enough attention, but I got the idea that after they died, the mom came back to the city.
No, it sounds like she didn't like being away from the city and being out in the wilderness. Like, this was really just a guy's retreat, it sounds like.
The mom was living in the city, and she would go visit on like holidays.
Mhm.
I was trying to think of something clever to say, I guess. All right, so it sounds like we are in agreement that we're moving forward.
Well, at least majority agreement. I won't say consensus, but
Yeah, I still want to poke around the city, but if no one else does, then whatever.
I don't
we can...
see any reason why we can't shortly poke around the city. I mean, we can spend half a day before we venture out.
I mean, at this point, if we spend half a day, it's like the end of the day, and then we have
Exactly. We should spend half a day, spend the night.
That
get
sounds
some
reasonable
rest.
to me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let our exploratory friend explore. I
I'm
will
going to point
stick
out that
around.
the beds in the taverns are going to be very short, and I don't know that I'm going to be able to sleep in them.
Well,
I think
we're
human
going
side
to
of
sleep
it.
in the human half of the city. I
Yeah.
assume we're probably done with the dwarves for the day.
Mhm.
You're right. They do make better servants.
I've curled up in many a dwarven bed. Meow. Meow.
Goodness.
Thank you, Sophie. She responds to my meows on camera.
I know, it's great.
Oh,
Let's see.
God.
Where is my... Okay, so heading up to the more, human stature elements of the city, you are able to find accommodations. Are you looking for something that'll get the job done or something on the fancy side?
Oh, I want something on the fancy side.
Fancy, yes.
I've got cash from my last mission, and I'm a cat that does not accept anything less. Meow.
We kind of came from the working dwarf bar, so maybe we'll learn something from the fancy people. That might be.
Look at those little eyes. They do not accept low quality goods.
Right?
They're looking at you with hatred.
Yeah. All
I'm
right.
familiar with the expression.
Aren't all cat owners?
Yup. So after pretty easily poking around, you find one of the larger and best reputation establishments, the Tarnished Anvil, that is near to the center of Mirabar. A big stone 3-story establishment with wings off the first floor. Definitely catches your attention as a place of
Ooh,
refinement, high quality. Based on the people you see going in and out, you see a wide variety of types of dress. This definitely seems to be where visiting merchants and the sort of economic elite will rub elbows with that.
Can I duck into an alley and change really quick?
Sure.
Oh goodness.
I'm gonna change into some really fancy Neverwinter noble clothes
I love
before
it.
we walk in.
Mm-hmm. All right. Very good.
I keep my loincloth on.
Very good, very good. Well, as you come in, there is a probably by the looks of him, half elf actually as well. A human half elf male in this, a butler's attire, sort of regards all of you. Welcome to the Tarnished Anvil. Hello, sir. Turning to was initially looking at Azure and definitely pinned eyes there, and then the eyes sort of saw past the shoulder to Tally and is now just looking rather confused at Tally.
Allie starts flicking a gold coin in his hand. And I was like, yeah, and flicks it at him and hopes he catches it.
Okay, all right. Roll a persuasion check.
Oh, for goodness sakes. Can I roll something good tonight?
Nope.
Awful. It's 11.
Okay, all right. He will catch it.
It's above average.
Yeah.
You're doing it.
I will take it after my field of 4s.
Right. So he will catch it. And just my apologies. I'm sure that we can arrange for any sort of accommodations you might need. I'll have the tailor sent up, complimentary.
I'll flip him another coin, and I'll remove 2 gold from my inventory.
All right.
How many rooms are we looking for? Want to split up?
I'm happy to stay with other people. I'm not actually rich. I'm just pretending.
Let's just get a suite
was
that
thinking
that
a
could
suite.
hold.
Sweet. A concierge level experience.
All right.
Given my background, do I know how much something like this would cost?
For let's see, for a complete suite room, rooms and meals included, concierge service, for the 5 of you, you're looking at probably about 50 to 60 gold total.
You're kidding for one night? Well, if
You
we all
wanted a
spend
fancy
10,
place.
I mean, 10 gold a
then
person,
we
that's
might
not
learn
bad.
something in the
I was gonna say,
fancy
yeah,
place.
it's approximately 10 gold a person.
If we might learn something in the fancy place, and if not, we'll be well rested.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think that's worth it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we have a lot of gold.
Yeah. I mean, I have
Can we
nothing else
expense
to
this,
spend my
by the
money
way?
on.
We will need a receipt just in case.
Oh no, exactly. We need a receipt. We're gonna have to submit this. No
You
alcohol.
know, it's a shame it was the only place without a vacancy. With a vacancy.
It's true. It's a busy town. We have to do what we have to do.
To which I think Teles would probably respond, "What about the annex?"
We're not sleeping in the library
well-
shelves. Come on.
Azure broke his arm. Azure, come over here real quick. Break. And we couldn't climb back up into the annex, so this was the only reasonable place.
Good. All right. So with your rooms attended to, or I should say your suite arranged for you. The butler will fetch you. Your suite is ready, good sir. Is there anything in particular that I may arrange for this evening?
Fishies?
Is that fishies?
I would
No.
like your finest. I would like your finest hair liniment.
I want to make sure that I just didn't misunderstand RJ. What did you say?
Hair
I said
liniment.
I would like your finest hair liniment.
I
Something to put in my wash my hair is what I'm asking.
Greasy hair.
Gotcha.
Hair grease.
Gotcha.
Hair grease.
Okay. I did not know that word.
Liniment is what you rub on a horse's muscle to make it calm down.
Uh-huh. Gotcha.
Yeah, he doesn't want conditioner. He wants hair balm.
Yeah, balm. Balm is a better word. That's
Gotcha.
exactly right.
Some
Gotcha.
pomade.
All right.
No, pomade does not have the same. Pomade is for styling. Balm is for healing.
Oh, great.
Good. Good. All right. Well, yes, that can certainly be arranged. Would you just like the supply, or shall I arrange a spa experience for you?
No, I can do it myself. I would only trust myself to do it myself.
Very well. And so with that, the key is handed over to Azure, and you are escorted up to a lovely suite of rooms that has basically a common area, a sort of sitting area with a small table off to one side where one could have meals, and then adjoining is two small bedrooms that have queen-sized beds, essentially, each with little, sort of chamber closets, and then a master suite with a king-size bed and a dedicated washroom.
So I just walk in without even talking. I walk into the king size suite and close the door.
You know, we have other things that we planned to do today. You don't.
I'm not
You're
saying I'm
going to
not
have to
going
come
back
out.
I'm just setting up shop.
Okay.
We just have to. Yeah, exactly.
Good, good. All right, so you are able to deposit any gear that you should wish. Azure, you are familiar with the idea that full armor and weapons is not the sort of thing that one would expect in the in the restaurant or social spaces of an establishment like this, depending on where you're planning on going.
If you guys have any weapons, I would keep them hidden while we're here.
Under the
Just-
loincloth. Well,
I'm gonna
so
fuse you a little.
My
you're
mind is
suggesting
my
I don't
deadliest
bring my
weapon.
bow? I mean, this is a big deal for me. I mean, I'm willing to do it, but it's a big change.
Just don't let someone see you with the bow.
Well, if I wear it, everyone will see me.
I was gonna say that's a hard one to accomplish.
I will attempt to make it look as hunting as possible and not combat-y. So I'll
Here's what you can do. Just unstring it and
Yeah,
use it as a staff.
yeah, I'm gonna unstring it. So it'll take me an action to restring it if we end up in a mess. But I'm gonna unstring my bow. I'm gonna sling it across my back. We'll be fine.
Okay.
Again, this is only for eating in the restaurant. If we're just walking around town, this is fine.
Yeah.
I can just carry my staff as my walking stick.
Yeah.
My bow is my walking stick.
Mm-hmm. All right. Very good. So, where are folks off to? Is there any splitting up, or are you guys sort of grouping together? It is probably after your experience with the dwarves down below. You're looking at probably, I'd say it's probably about 2 in the afternoon by this point.
Oh, so we're day drunk.
No, the dwarves are day drunk. We're fine.
Well, also you with those history checks actually that you rolled earlier and your understanding of Mirabar, when you're that far down, it's just 24/7. People sleep on, they get into whatever cycle their shift is, and that's it, because there's never any sun. Things are just happening 24/7.
Well, that's nice.
Third shift, getting off work.
Basically, yeah.
So we can do whatever we want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I do think we should stay together, however.
I agree. Does anyone need any kind of supplies, weapons, armor?
Name.
bag of caltrops, ball bearings.
No.
Did we ever get like an impression of how long of a journey this would be? We should probably get provisions at some point.
Mm-hmm.
We all have some rations, right? I have 10 rations. I have 20 rations.
Yeah, well, that's great if it's a 1 week journey, but you know,
There.
You would expect from the maps that you have and two people who are sort of familiar with, or actually more so Tally, familiar with maps and overland journeys and whatnot. You're probably looking at somewhere between 3 and 4 days in each direction.
no problem.
It's not bad.
Okay.
Well, we paid for this fancy suite, so I think I'm going to kind of put my hair in like a nice braid, kind of like crimp a little bit, and then I'm gonna go outside and outside the room and speak to the concierge, who should know about the history of the town and maybe can give a little insight. So maybe
would
there's
like to-
a bell I could ding or something.
Yeah?
I would like to join you, Selva, if you don't mind.
Please.
So very distinctly, whereas everything else is, sort of silver and gold gilt and has this nice appearance to it, there is a very distinctly copper bell that is on a little side table near the main door. And you ring it, and there is no sound, but yet maybe about 1 minute later, there is a knock on your door, and the concierge is outside.
I open the door and I say, "Took you long enough."
My,
Oh,
We're pretending to be fancy.
my apologies, madam. How may I be of assistance?
Oh, my partner here and I, we are new in town, and we're really interested in learning about the history and some of the, you know, families and folks that live around this area, and we're hoping you could kind of maybe give us a little bit of just a kind of a brief history of
The who's who of the upper crust.
exactly.
yes.
Well, most
Specifically, I really like ghost stories. So if you know
Yeah.
any spooky places around here, it could be worth your while.
certainly.
And I'll kind of like have a gold in my hand.
Here, well, he will go through a few things. Talking about the founding of the city, gives you the sort of, penny tour spiel of how the ancient dwarves settled beneath this area in the highest levels of the Underdark and built a stronghold here that was subsequently eventually overrun by orc tribes and devastated in the area, forcing them deeper underground until the orcs kind of gave up on, they had taken whatever was easily available after a couple of generations, while the dwarves remained deeper underground. And then they continued to basically do just that until humans came in and sort of settled on the same spot using some of the old fortifications and whatnot, and coming to realize that the dwarves had not been exterminated as had been thought, but that they were simply deeper down, and the two, sort of separate cities grew back together, taking advantage of each other's expertise and skills. The humans having the trade connections and being more familiar with the surface realm and whatnot, and trade routes, whereas the dwarves had the rich mineral resources and the expert craftsmen that would make this the economic hotspot that it is today. So that is noteworthy. The upper crust of the city. I gotta dive into my Sword Coast Adventurer's Guide here for a hot second. Let's see. Nope, not. Okay, not. There we go. Mirabar. The city is currently ruled by a Marchian, kind of a king, a hereditary rule, by the name of Selin Rarium. who it's kind of a constitutional monarchy. There is a council of sparkling stones. It is mainly dwarf driven, this system of government, but the council of sparkling stones, those families have great political power within the city, as they are sort of the legislature, if you will. And anyone with connections to them is definitely the who's who. There are merchant guild leaders of various prominent guilds, you know, the Jewel Cutters Guild, the Stonemasons Guild, the mining organization, so on and so forth. And people in charge of those are generally a bit of a who's who as well. Now, as for ghost stories, he will start off telling you an ancient disaster that befell deep beneath the city when the dwarves, there was a greedy foreman who was just too zealous for profits. He was being pushed by the executives and ignored the safety warnings, ignored the threats of the rock formations, and pushed the shaft too deep. And there was a terrible cave-in, and it is said that to this day, the cries of the lost miners can still be heard when all is still and quiet.
Mm.
That is indeed scary.
Any creepy tales of, I don't know, people going missing or acting strangely or kind of like fringe weird magic stuff? That's kind of more the sort of stories we like. You know, that niche of storytelling.
Well, I let's see here. Making me actually roll for this poor level 0 NPC. I'm afraid I don't know anything of that. I mean, there are certainly tales of miners that have gone lost in forgotten shafts and what have you, but I don't know of anything particular. We do have an affiliation with the Miners Union down below. If you are interested in any of their guided tours, I'm sure that I can make the necessary arrangements for you.
How about any kind of, I don't know, chalets on the outskirts or near city? I don't
We
know.
are much more forest people than underground.
Mhm, mhm. Yes, isn't it just?
Uh,
That is, I must admit, a bit of an unexplored niche. You might have a business proposition on your doorstep in that case, if you can make such a thing happen. But I do believe that there was one family that established a lovely chalet. They were popular. Maybe probably about 40 years ago. 40 to 50 years ago, but I can't remember. Barlow, Brantifax. Yes, Brantifax.
that
No.
sounds like a silly made-up name.
Point
Kind of facts?
point of order. Wasn't the book dropped off at Candlekeep 60 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
I might just have a foggy memory. Or
Well, yeah. I guess we're trusting the Candlekeep wizard guy.
Who is notoriously unreliable.
well, and this is also just some concierge guy.
Yeah,
speaking.
it's also possible that the chalet was abandoned after whatever happened to the author of this book.
Mhm.
Fair. Very fair.
So I don't recall quite what happened to the family. I haven't heard anything of them as a presence on the social scene lately.
Oh, Azure, you have that one third cousin we were thinking about visiting. Her name. Wait, her name was Teresa, something like that. Do you know anybody like that? We don't know her address, but we thought it might be nice to just drop in.
Well, I can certainly make inquiries at the Hall of Speaking Stones, if that would be of interest to you, and I can report back to you on anything I should find.
That would be lovely.
Certainly. Unless there is anything else you shall need, I'll take my leave and attend to that.
And I'll sleight of hand him 5 gold.
Okay.
And my
Aw.
liniment.
And sorry, what?
And my liniment?
Actually, I was gonna say, so you not being in the doorway, at least immediately as you approach, he is in fact holding it.
Good. Thank you. And then I just turn and leave.
And he just sort of reaches in the door and sets it on the end table next to the door.
No, I took it from them.
Okay. Gotcha. Then he pauses for a moment, but then Azure slips him 5 gold, and that seems to make up for your lack of tip.
You paid 10 gold. Why would I pay more gold? I don't
Right?
this process.
Right?
I guess what would be a good? It's like 5 gold, like a really good tip, or is that just like a smidge?
Five.
That was an insane tip.
I was gonna say 5 gold
In
is
this-
in this circumstance, is still quite generous. It's a like you're very much on his good side for the rest of your stay.
That's what I was going for.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not over the top. Like you're paying like 11 per person already, so like, it's not like you overshot your fee.
Oh, before he goes, we will need a receipt of all of this as well before we leave. Well
There's
documented.
no way we're getting
You're
reimbursed for
slipping
this.
in gold. You're asking for a receipt.
Not just for the room and everything.
Yes, certainly. I will make sure that is prepared. How long do you plan to be staying with us?
I think probably just the night.
Very well. Well,
We have to be off early tomorrow.
understandable. Well, then let us know if there's anything that can be done to prepare for your journey, and we hope to welcome you back again soon, or that if your plans change, we will be delighted to extend your stay.
I didn't catch your name, young sir, ma'am.
Oh, just concierge.
The nameless
Do we need
concierge.
Do we need to free this person?
Did you burn down this inn?
No. This is the greatest evil we've encountered yet.
We strive.
Evil wage labor.
We strive
I
for
thought
the.
you. Sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I thought you preferred human servants, Zukar.
Sure, but I let them keep their name. Jesus. I mean, Lord Tiamat.
Indeed. He says, we strive for the greatest consistency in our service, so we do not wish any disruptions.
Okie
And with that,
Well, should we go downstairs or?
Why
dokie.
not?
Do we want to go out on the town?
Ooh.
It's still fairly early. It's like
Or just go to bed and make out for the villa.
at like midnight.
No,
like-
I mean go to bed and then tomorrow morning make out for the villa.
Oh, it's like 2 or 3 in the afternoon right now.
Yeah,
Okay.
I still want to see if we can't find any trace of the Brantifex line here in town.
The
There. I
backseat can
like-
sleep up for
remember,
up
I
to
sleep like
16
18 hours a
a
day.
day. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Remember, I have no problem sleeping indefinitely.
All right.
Subjective
I'll
sleeping. Can we take a brief break?
Yeah. Sounds good. All right, so All right, welcome back from break. As always, whether you're playing in person or online, take your bio breaks. They're important. Stretch, free your mind, etc.
Hug people.
Hug people, yeah, because that's a thing that can sometimes happen now.
As long as it's socially distant where required by local vaccination mandates.
Indeed. So that is that. Now, I believe we had a little bit of discussion during our break. Selva, if you can roll an insight check.
I can.
Oh,
That's pretty good.
I was gonna say now, Azure, do you want to speak this, or do you want to send her a private message, or what's I don't know what angle
Yeah,
you're
I don't
going
know what
at
I'm
here.
inciting.
Yeah,
I'll send you a private message. So give me a
gotcha.
second.
I kind of just, I'm kind of looking him up and down a little bit, like, and then we kind of just go about our
All right,
merry way.
fair enough. Fair enough. So with that, where is the party off to do anything in particular right now? Or are you sort of chilling and waiting for your concierge to bring you information?
I think we should go out and about. We've got a whole day essentially ahead of us.
Yeah.
Let's figure some stuff out.
I'd like to slip back into my regular armor.
Ooh, something
Doing
more
a lot of
comfortable.
doing a lot of slipping today, Azure.
I'm a sneaky boy.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
Because what are the chances that we would, not get attacked in the middle of the street out here?
hmm I'm gonna stay fancy because I just normally look kind of bohemian and fancy anyway, and I don't even have to carry a weapon really. I just carry my little electricity orb. So
Yeah.
I
kinda-
will cast disguise self on myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I will actually look very close to Azure's Water Davian noble costume, with the exception of a large gem pendant
Okay.
in my chest. So I will shrink down a little bit and plump up to a reasonable body frame size, and then my armor will become really nice looking clothing.
Gotcha. All right.
Also, just quick notice: Neverwinter, not Water Avian.
Was it okay? Yeah, Neverwinter. Excuse me.
No worries.
Cool. All right.
Gonna write it down.
And is there anywhere particular that you're striking out for? Again, kind of doing the water hole sort of vibe, except now upper crust, or what's the target? Or just have a good time. I don't know I don't know.
What's immediately outside of our tavern hotel situation?
Immediately, sort of next door and kind of adjoining is what looks to be a high class restaurant that is associated. Across the street, there is a cute little sort of like bohemian cafe, coffee shop sort of thing. And then just in general around your vicinity is a lot of high-end shopping, by and large. So tailors and seamstresses, haberdasheries, cobblers, etc. Very, very nice things.
Have I seen a single tabaxi since I entered the town?
No.
I think you said no, but I didn't hear you.
No.
Oh well.
All by myself.
Exactly.
It's tough to be a cat up north.
Well, I'm going to go. I'm going to go into the high-end restaurant
Okay.
and request a table for two.
Certainly. Right this way. And we'll take you to a what's your passive perception?
That's a damn good question that I don't know the answer to off the top of my head. 15.
Okay, so you pick up on the fact that, as you're sort of skimming around, I don't know how familiar is Tally as familiar with fine dining as his player?
That's a good question. Give me 1 second and I'll tell you the answer. Yes, he is, because of his experience in the world. I would say he is rough in personality, but familiar with what is going on.
Gotcha. Okay. So, as you sort of, with that practiced eye, look around, you realize there's not really a bad table in this establishment. It's very
How
nice.
lovely.
It's very nicely laid out. But you do pick up on the fact that you are brought to the one with like the lowest visibility from the door.
No. I see that, and I say very nicely as I flip a gold coin to the maitre d'. I say, no, I'd really prefer something slightly better.
Oh, I assure you, we have excellent seating. There are lovely views of the architecture from all seats, and
I would like a good view of the door. I like to know what's coming and going.
oh, very well. And we'll take you over to a table not too far away. It's still a distance from the door, but has a clear line of sight to it.
Thank you very much. Um,
As
and yeah.
as you are wearing a loincloth. That it seems to be less that you're a tabaxi and more your attire. That he's
You
like,
know what? I'm
Loincloth and a jacket would have been.
a loincloth and leather armor.
Mm,
I've got sort of leather armor on.
oh, gotcha. Yeah, I forgot about that part. Okay, then yeah, sorry. Yeah.
I
Very
mean,
well.
I've got a loincloth on under my sort of leather armor.
Right.
So I just want to sort of observe the crowd. Like, what's going on here?
Okay.
What's the deal?
Make a insight check.
That's a darn good question. Hold on. That would require something that I can't access because there we go. I have too many windows open. An insight check is what you asked for?
Mm-hmm.
My insight check is a 15.
Okay. There is, at this time of day, not a ton of traffic. You do notice that the people coming and going, or those who are already dining around you, definitely are discussing business. These are, pairs of business people, securing deals, or in maybe a few cases, you can kind of overhear or see the body language of just catching up on trade news. Perhaps one of them you see from the attire is from Waterdeep, so they're telling their friend about the latest news from the markets of Waterdeep, or so on and so forth. So it's pretty commerce driven and pretty sort of geographically diverse in terms of where people are hailing from. You do notice, more so than anywhere else in the city that you've seen so far, there is quite a racial variety. You are seeing elves, you're seeing half elves, you're seeing halflings, dwarves, even a goblin or two. So yeah, it kind of runs the gamut. Genasi, tieflings. It's pretty, yeah.
I have an
Actually
odd
going
question.
I'm actually going to about maybe 5 to 10 minutes after he is seated there, I will come to the restaurant.
Oh,
I'm waiting at the maitre d'
no,
table.
I wave you over. I
I'm
snap.
gonna say, "Oh, I see my party," and just walk over there.
I snap him over and I say, Zokar, this seems to be a good place of diverse interests in the town. What can we learn here?
I am curious as to the chef's special.
Yes, exactly. We could learn about the cuisine.
Just we begin to do so immediately.
Yes, well, I will order the specialty of the house.
All
I
right.
snap. I am completely shameless. I'm on the border of rude, and I will snap over the waiter and I will say, "Come, server. My friend is interested in your delights of culinary extravagance."
Oh,
This the preferred way of handling things in this place.
Yes, yes, exactly. That is how human society works. I've learned these things.
Add a little garçon.
I thank you.
That's not how
Thank
we
you
do
for
it in
this.
Tabaxi society, but that's how humans do it. They rudely call for anything they want at any moment.
Thank you for this this lesson.
It's not what we do. I mean, we sort of quietly sit there and meow, but they seem to demand what they want. Yes, exactly.
Right? Gosh. All
You're
right.
gonna get thrown out.
The waiter does come over and list off a variety of specials, and of course, has the menus before you with some of their more routine fare. What does Tally order?
Well, I think Tally orders off menu.
Oh, okay.
And Tally says, I know that a restaurant of this quality has some kind of very good medium-sized carcass in the kitchen, and I would like a leg of it.
Yes, we have a very fine aged pork leg that has
Perfect.
very good. All right.
Perfect. A lovely a pork shank.
Indeed, indeed.
Yes. Don't bother to cook it. Just
Oh,
set it out.
well,
Season it, but don't cook it.
very well. It is aged, dry aged, and
Delicious.
yes.
Season it. Season it as the chef prepares, but do not cook it.
All right. Very good.
What about my friend here?
And what does Zokar order?
What is the most complicated and time-consuming thing on your menu?
Well, the chef is quite pleased with the accomplishment that he has. A bit of a petit four arrangement, a full course arranged in the style of petit four, and is very beautiful, very refined, and covers the entire gamut of local specialties as well as far off traded spices and distant acquisitions.
Wow.
And is it good?
I most certainly it is exquisite.
I will have one of those, and to drink a yak's blood.
Certainly, I'll be right back.
Wait, that's a thing?
And sort of bows and scurries off, and you see him sort of like leaning in the kitchen door and having this like hushed conversation, and runs back over. I must apologize. We are fresh out of yak. However, would sow suffice?
Do you feel it would?
I must confess that I am not familiar, so I cannot say.
We do drink the blood of bovines where I come from, but yes, I guess that will do.
And so he rushes off, and in relative
Zokar.
as oh yeah. Go ahead.
I'm Zokar. The reason I'm here is because I think that, as a general rule, the servants to the most exquisite diners in an area know all the gossip. They might not admit it, but they know everything. They hear everything. So how can we possibly learn things from this establishment?
We could take one with us then. We have a long day's journey. We'll have a
Like,
opportunity to get
like
information
kidnap him?
if they're the best source of information
No,
according.
no, no,
Let
no,
us
no,
take one.
no. Subtlety. We want to learn from them. We want to tip them and get them on our side such that they will give us information about their customers.
Does that not involve us giving up some of our money when we could not simply take them and compel them to tell us for free?
Well, yes, it does, but we have more money. We could give them a small amount of our money, which to them is a large amount of money. We can transmit a little bit of money and get a lot out of it.
I don't understand your ways, but I am prepared to learn.
Yes, exactly. We
And it occurs to me
gratuities. You will learn the way of gratuities.
it occurs to me that we can always, if their information is not good enough, take them after,
No,
and then take the gratuity back.
that's not. Well, if we need to, we can, but hopefully we can do it via gratuities.
By preserving my correct way of doing things and learning your strange way of doing things will be
You
very
reserve your rights to kidnap, while I reserve my rights to tip.
And so, before too long, the server does come back with a plate of basically appropriately, Anthony, Serrano ham. Just nice.
I have one on the deck.
I know, I want it. A nice plate of that served up with various cheeses and dried fruits and jellies, and little crostinis and whatnot.
Oh my goodness! Wow, how lovely.
Mhm.
I'm uninterested in the crostinis, but I'm excited about the rest of it.
Fair enough. And to Zokar is served what appears to be the first course of the Petit Fours, is these sort of vegetable Petit Fours that have like this, vegetable purees and like sweet potato cracker and things like that.
So let's cut to the chase because I don't want to go through a 9-course meal with our party in front of us. So I will pull aside the server and I will say, I am sure that you know all sorts of interesting things that we might want to learn. And I will point him to Zokar and I will say, Zokar, ask the server nice questions and I will give him nice gold. And we will find out what we need to know.
No, he did not. Are you the one that made this? And I'm going to point to the half-eaten sweet potato pate or whatever.
No, that comes from the kitchen. I attend to customer service and serving.
Yes, we want to know about the customers, not the kitchen. Get out of your kitchen self. We want to know about the customers. We want to know about things in the world.
I think my friend wants to know if you have eavesdropped on the customers and know interesting things to know about the customers.
Yes.
Roll a persuasion check.
I'm going to help you.
Yep. Okay. Well, no, one does not eavesdrop on customers.
Oh, come on.
Does-
I
does
flip him another gold coin and I say, I'm sorry. I was once a server in my youth. Everyone eavesdrops on the customers.
And, he seemed to be in mid-sentence, and the gold coin changes the course of that sentence slightly. Yeah. But one does overhear things on occasion, accidentally, of course, you understand.
Yeah, accidentally, of course. I'm not suggesting that you're anything other than an honorable server, but honorable servers, as I once was in my youth, overhear things.
Indeed.
Of great interest.
Is
What are
there...
those? What are those things? In order of interest.
Well, the Lady Ditressa was recently seen out with a gentleman caller.
Is
I'm
that
not-
unusual? Is the Lady Ditressa frigid and keeps an empty bed?
Oh no, she's married.
That's not an answer. I'm not sure this gets us where we need to go. We need to. I'm trying to find out whether there's any information about where we're looking for.
Then, if I may interject, as the dungeon master, then ask a question.
Zokar?
My friend would like to know about the area surrounding Chateau Brantifax
Yes.
and the Lady Brantifax. Has she ever been in here?
Oh, well, before my
I will
time,
manipulate a gold coin. And I will manipulate a number of gold coins in my claws. Like I'll sort of flip them. I'll do
yeah,
like sort of an act.
before my time, but from what I understand, she was quite the mover and shaker around the social scene here. And he glances back to the maitre d', who is an elf, like full-blooded elf. Let me just ask some follow-up questions. Is there anything in particular you're curious to know?
About her daughter.
Getting a psychic message
Yes, daughter, the daughter.
about who holds the title on the chateau now the Baron is dead.
Ah, interesting. Yes, I understand. No one has moved on that in quite some time, so it's very astute. I'll be right back. And heads over and speaks with the maitre d' for a little bit and comes back. Well, let me tell you.
Well, let me tell you.
She was indeed quite the mover and shaker back in the day. Given her, she was a human, so I believe that she is since departed. But quite a travesty with the family. Apparently, all the hullabaloo was that their first daughter was a bright, lovely young thing, very good with a bow, and really had a great education, and seemed like she would earn quite the handsome dowry and make some waves when she came of age, of course. But the second daughter was a bit of a scandal. She wasn't ever seen in public. There was whispers, however, that she had a grave illness from birth, and the family kept her hidden away at the chalet.
Oh no.
But it was quite the travesty. You see, from the sounds of it, the elder daughter met an untimely end at the chalet. And not long thereafter, the Baron himself met an untimely end. Without any ties, the Baroness left Mirabar, made for Waterdeep, I believe.
Sounds like we're gonna go to an undead chalet.
Thank you for your help. If I could give one final piece of advice, this sweet potato pate is truly wretched on every level, and I did not care for it. And I would recommend that your chef relearn how the tongue works, and then think about that when he makes food for people to place upon it.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Very
Thank
shady.
and then I'll turn to Tally. I keep wanting to say Tabby, and then I'll say, "Now is it time for Plan B?"
Yes. Yes.
Are you actually saying yes?
Yes.
What more are you hoping to find out? Just
No, we're
curious.
done. We've got all we need to know.
Okay. You misunderstood what Plan B then meant then.
I'm sorry. I did. I know I entirely did.
Plan B, my plan of kidnapping the
Oh
servant,
God, no!
killing him.
No! It's not time for Plan B.
I love how
no.
great this party is at Plan B Phase 2. Like,
I'm sorry. I apologize. I had a different Plan B in my mind. We are not going to Plan B. We are going to go. We're going to proceed forward normally. We're not going to kidnap anyone.
good.
Well, okay, I think that we would benefit from Plan B,
No.
but I find myself very confused by this place. It is considered to be a fine dining establishment, and everything I ate tasted as if it was gently vomited upon the plate.
Yes,
So
it was not
I
good.
will defer
This is
to
not
your-
a good restaurant.
I will defer to
agree
your
with you.
expertise here.
No, I will agree with you. This is not a good restaurant. No, it's not good at all.
We go find our friends,
Very
Yes.
well.
from what we have learned.
Not good at all. No, very bad. Compared to your appetizers, this is a travesty.
Terrible.
Meanwhile, Baratsune, Azure, and Selva find themselves elsewhere in the city.
Oh, I thought that kind of bohemian, like hipster cafe might have some interesting people we could chat up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Yeah, I would like to go there, and I basically my questions are going to be about the best route to take to get to this chalet.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So I'm looking for somebody who has a bit of a outdoorsy feel or
Mhm.
whatever.
Well, yeah, let's walk by the cafe and what is it look like? What's the clientele like? Who do we see in there?
Um, it actually, you can see, kind of two areas. They have a patio, and it is. I guess I should have specified this as you arrived. You just traveled. You teleported, essentially, a vast distance northward, and it is springtime. So there is a much more pronounced chill in the air up here. There are maybe even in like shaded alleys, there might still be drifts of snow. And there are just buds coming out on the trees. So it is quite crisp outside. But you see they have a patio, they have patio seating that is largely dominated by what looks like, generally humans, working class people, waiters, cooks, scullery maids, the working people of this elite area are all hanging out outside. And then inside, where it's a little more comfortable temperature, you see some of the more mercantile people.
I hate this.
Yeah, I want to sit outside and see if I can't engage any of these locals in conversation about, if anyone ever travels the, I've got a few roads written down here, the path of elks or daisies or the Uthgard March.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Mhm. Yeah, I think we sit at that table together and kind of just stretch and loudly say, oh, it's starting to warm up a little bit, and we've been thinking about a trip. So um, I'm just loudly, like over the top, talking about like how we'd like to see
Mm-hmm.
some chalets, buzzword, and curious about the different paths we've been hearing about. Yeah, I wonder if anybody knows anything about that. And it's sort of like over the top, loud
We
speaking.
sure would pay them lots of money if they gave us good info.
Mhm, mhm.
If only we knew somebody.
As soon as you say that, they notice you come and sit down, and especially, I mean, Azure and Selva, they look at you a little askance, like, why are you look like customers? Why are you hanging out here, sort of thing. And then as soon as you say that, the customer service faces light up. And the tone of conversation around you changes to customer service voices. As from the table directly behind you, Azure, you see a human cook who's like still wearing his apron and whatnot. Sort of leans over. So you're looking for country errands?
Yes, we're sort of new in town, just kind of wondering, you know, what's what's the best way to kind of travel around here? What are things to look out for? Yeah, just anything you might know.
Well, that kind of depends on what sort of things you're looking for. Any particular sites in mind, or
We're going into the mountains. We've heard a rumor of this abandoned chalet that nobody's stepped foot in for decades, and thought we'd see it for ourselves.
Oh, no, you don't want to do that.
You don't?
No, that place is haunted as fuck.
Yeah, that's the appeal.
That makes it better.
Mhm.
We're
Sort of
ghost hunters, you see.
leans over to like the sous chef next to him. These people are crazy. Uh, well, if that's the sort of thing you'd be looking for, then well, the Path of Elks is probably the straightest route. The Path of Daisies, it's a misnomer. You want to stay far away from there. That's there are lots of poisonous snakes, bad kinds of mushrooms. I know the forest. I go out foraging, getting mushrooms and truffles, that sort of thing. So I'm kind of familiar. That's a nasty place. Now the Uthgard March. Now that's a tricky one. About this time of year, you should be all right. It's pretty clean, pretty clear, well maintained. Predators aren't going to bother you. But if you run into the Uthgard while they're passing through the region, it's not going to be a good time for you.
And the Uthgards are.
They're tribal folks all throughout this region. It's ironically the elk tribe that sometimes passes through, and they don't take too kindly to people being where they consider to be theirs.
What would you do if you were trying to get up to the chalet?
Well, I'd have someone talk me out of it first. But then second, if nobody talked me out of it, like I'm kind of trying to do to you folks right now, because you seem like you're pretty nice folks, so I'm trying to talk you out of it, honestly. But if I failed to do that, then I would say the Path of Elks is probably a good way to go. Just keep your eyes out.
Oh, I will. I'll take that to heart, and thank you so much for the. I appreciate your attempt to look out for my safety, but I can handle myself. And then I will pass him a gold or two. Let's give him 2.
He takes that with like a big, like the eyebrows go up. Thank you. Well, if anything does happen to you, I hope the folks that find you like money.
I mean, I hope the folks that find us like fighting for their lives, because we are the danger.
Oh, it's some of them adventuring folks.
I mean, we want to go explore haunted chalets not tip you off?
Well, you see, in my experience, adventuring folk are a very rare combination of capable and stupid, and lucky and lucky. Rich folks are generally only the second one.
Well, hopefully we have capable and lucky in equal measure to our stupidity.
Here's hoping, and he, raises a coffee cup to you.
All right.
All right.
I don't have any further questions.
I was gonna say after that they're helping. They're happy to like let you hang around and basically shoot the shit with you, and realize that like, okay, you're not the hoity-toities. You're a little crazy, but you're honest folks.
You two are overdressed.
Right.
I am trying very hard to bring us back down to capable and lucky.
Yeah.
I'm back in like my regular armor now, so I'm a little less fancy.
That's true.
But still
I'm not
nice
like
armor.
overtly fancy. I'm just like my normal like sort of scarves and like nice whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not like super posh looking.
Cool. All right, so with that, you are able to, over the course of your afternoons, converge back together at the inn, if you will, and swap your stories, figure out your plans for the next day, and unless there's anything else, turn in for a very luxurious and restful evening.
I actually DM'd you about something I wanted to do this evening.
Indeed. I think time-wise, IRL, we won't tackle that presently, but you and I will maybe touch base about it.
I'm gonna do just a precautionary augury.
Okay.
And ask should we take the path of elks to get to this place, or will that be good or bad?
Gotcha. All
What a
right.
good idea. That's
Yeah.
a really good idea.
What form does your augury take? How do you divine the path of fate?
I have a bunch of sticks that are tightly wrapped, and I undo the bindings, and I hold the sticks in my hand, and I just kind of fling them up into the air and read the patterns that they land in. I believe that's the I Ching.
Sure.
What is he doing?
I'm like, oh, is this like a modern art installation or
Just
something?
throwing sticks
He is-
everywhere.
He is consulting the Lich Queen for guidance. Silence.
And as you examine the pattern in which your divining sticks fall, you see signs of both weal and woe.
Well, that's not an answer.
That's fine. It'll be good. I am more than confident that we will find everything we are seeking.
Wheel and woe.
Mm-hmm.
Do we know how to get to the Path of Elks from?
Yes.
We have a
Yeah.
map.
Mhm.
That
Okay.
map.
Very good. All right. Well, I think we shall call it there for the evening as the party takes a restful night's sleep in luxurious accommodations and sets out, well rested, early the next morning to begin a 3 or 4 day trek through the Lurkwood.
Filled with random encounters. It's their first and only non-combat session, and I expect next session to be filled
Yo.
with random encounters.
Wheel and woe. And woe.
Very good. Okay. Well, thank you everyone for hanging out and joining us. Again, especially thank you for joining me on my birthday. I couldn't think of a better way to spend it than hanging out with my chat when that happens. So yeah, the 30th of June should be our next episode. And stay tuned for live Brendan to pop in here and say hey. And thanks for joining us.
For all of you to say happy birthday.
Yay!
Yay.